Okay, so we're just gonna do a quick little vloggy McVloggy doodle. I have not been active the last few months. I've had a few health issues and also issues around my house. So it's been a crazy few months for me. So I started out and I went very well for like a week or so with Chloe Ting workouts, and then things like hit the fan here. We had issues with leaking, we had to repair things in the house, and then I ended up going to the doctors for things and discovering I have PCOS. And then soon after that, I had an issue with my back. I pinched, whatchamacallit. I don't even know anymore what it was called, but something was pinched or squished or whatever in my spine or whatever, which was causing me exceeding pain. So the doctor put me on only simple tasks for a while. Like even walking was hell. I went to the park to just take a walk and I only went a few feet and my back just started hurting so bad I couldn't move. So that was a little while with that. And then I'm finally better from that. I'm finally ready to get going. I got my bike up and running. I start going on bike rides. I did 4 5-hour-a-day bike rides. And then my right eye, a couple weeks ago, about a month ago now, I woke up on a Tuesday morning temporarily blind in my right eye. So it was black. It was just black. And a few moments later, the vision came back, but it was super blurry. And then I'm sitting there like, well, this is odd. I'm pretty sure I should just see the eye doctor today because that's not normal. So I go outside my house, I step outside the door. Now my house faces this direction, whatever that is, and there's no morning sun in the front of the house. The sun is in the back. It doesn't hit the front until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's 7 a.m. There's no sun, no direct sunlight in the front. I step outside and it just seems so bright to my right eye and everything just goes black again. Then it starts to come back and there's floaters. So I'm like, okay, well, the eye doctors still don't open for another hour, so I'm just gonna go to the ER at this point. So then my husband drives me to the ER, and while I'm in the car, everything starts hurting. It's just so much pain. It's just, ow. Like, it was intense, but it was like throbbing. Like, there'd be pain for a moment, really intense, and then it would start to calm down, but then it'd come back, and then it'd stop, and then it'd come back. It just wasn't fun. So I get to the ER, and the ER that I went to is a University Medical Hospital. So they have an optometrist upstairs and everything, and the optometrist gets ready to open at 8:30. By the time I got to the hospital, it was like 7:50. So I get upstairs, I get to the ER, they check me in, they're like, well, that's weird. So they get me up to the optometrist. Some of the optometrists are already there, they're getting ready to start their day. So they check my eye pressure first, and my eye pressure is reading 54. Normal eye pressure is 10 or 12 to 22. So my eye pressure was extremely high and considered critical. They brought me back down to the ER and started pumping me with IV fluid medication stuff, and then oral medications and 3 different types of eye drops. The 3 different eye drops had to be done on rotation, 5 minutes apart each. And then they did the first eye drop, 5 minutes the second one, then the third one. There are 5 minutes between each, but then they repeated it, and they repeated it again for like 40 minutes. So I'm just constantly, eye drop time, eye drop time, eye drop time. After 40 minutes, they bring me back upstairs to the optometrist, and my eye pressure has dropped down to 29, so not so critical anymore. So they give me oral medication and the eye drops all to bring home. The eye drops, one of them I had to do every 2 hours. That was corticosteroid. One of them I had to do 4 times a day. One of them I had to do morning and night. And if at any time they went at the same time, I would need to wait at least 5 minutes before putting in the second drop. So then after 3 days, I went back to get checked up. The eye pressure is back down to normal and everything. They discovered 2 holes in my retina in the back of my eye. So my vision is still quite blurry and it's just weird. So I go the following Thursday to get a laser procedure to seal the 2 holes. That hurt. That hurt like hell. They told me it wasn't gonna hurt. They told me I could just go home, recover, was really fast. I'd be able to work that night. It'd be fine. No, it hurt. It hurt like hell. It hurt so bad I had to take painkillers and I try to avoid them. And it hurt for like 4+ days. It was just like a constant pain. It wasn't going away. And I'm not used to taking painkillers for so many days, but I was taking painkillers. And then acetaminophen to be specific. And then the pain started easing. It wasn't as bad. I could deal with it most of the time, but if it was getting too much or I couldn't sleep because of it, I would maybe take a painkiller then, but I started like able to ease it off a little bit better. And then I had the checkup with the doctor 3 weeks after the laser, so that was a couple days ago. And everything looks fine now. My vision is basically back to normal now. Sometimes though, I get a little bit of an issue with blurriness or stuff just not focusing. So that's still there, but it's not like it was. I can see okay now, but we still have to find the underlying cause. They diagnosed me with uveitis, I don't know how to say it. And they said the underlying cause is normally autoimmune. So I have to go get tested for autoimmune diseases now, and it's just not been fun. So I've been trying to get back on the health kick now as my eye is getting better. And like all this time I've been trying to continue to eat healthy. It's just physical activity has not been as prevalent as it could be. There's a few things like shorter bike rides. We hiked up a mountain a couple times since the last time I did anything on this channel. We've done a little bit, but it's not been like regular everyday type of exercise. It's just been sporadic and sometimes interrupted. So the last 2 weeks, I've been slowly building back up into it. 2 weeks ago on a Tuesday, I went to the gym, and then I went to go to the gym again on Saturday, but then I got sick. I had a cold. And then the next week on Tuesday, I went to the gym again. And then this past Saturday, I didn't go to the gym because I went to the neighboring city and did stuff there with like fun with family. I got my hair colored. And then yesterday again, I went back to the neighboring city and I did a barbecue with friends. I did most of the cooking. I only ate a little bit. I had a little bit of the fried potatoes that I cooked. I had a burger, a grilled burger, not like a prepared burger. My friend, who's a bit of a health nut, he prepared the burgers by hand, so they weren't like horribly terrible burgers or anything. And then a little bit of pork rib or pork chop or whatever he had there. And the only vegetable he really had was corn and broccoli. I had corn, but I can't stomach broccoli. I can't even put it in my mouth without gagging. So there was no broccoli to be had. I can't, no. So I didn't really have many vegetables yesterday, but yeah. I did do a lot of walking though. I had to drive from my house to the train station, get on the train. And then once I was on the train, I had to walk from the train station to his house. And then I stood at his house, like I went there early to help with the cooking, so I was there standing the majority of the time. So I wasn't inactive, but I wasn't specifically active, you know? I wasn't like exercising, I was just active. So I am currently in the room that we've been working on with the leaking. This is the now exercise room. So we'll start off with the house repair stuff. This is the wall. Somewhere over here is supposedly leaking, according to the neighbor, because it leaks downstairs into both of our houses. She claims it's us. Last year in May, this was a balcony. Last year in May, we had this sealed up, this window and siding and everything was added, okay? The roof was already there, that's old. So all of the siding and it was all added. And there shouldn't have been any more leaking because we were sealed. Well, the rain came and it leaked again and the neighbor claims it's us. Now, there was a spot here on the wall that had a big pile of chipped paint from the workers, and there was a little spot here that they didn't seal properly that water was getting in. So the neighbor was claiming that the little bit of water that was getting in here was getting all the way over here and leaking into the wall and causing the leak. So, we took the plastic down, we waterproofed the wall, sealed this spot with cement. That's why it's a little uneven because we put a layer of cement on it. And then we did multiple coats of different kinds of waterproof paint. So the first one was like a silicone-based, really watery, waterproof paint that we did all over the cement wall. And supposedly this stuff is so great that it seals cement. I don't know. And then after that, we did the gray paint, which is also a waterproof cement paint. And this stuff is really thick, and I put on a lot of coats. So hopefully that's good. But again, we took down the plastic frame first and we did behind and under everything too. And then before we put the plastic back up, we siliconed, like the neighbor's got this metal frame here, so we can't get under the frame to like really seal things up. So we siliconed between her frame and here on both sides. We climbed over to the neighbor's side and sealed her side too. And then we put the plastic back up and we resealed here. And then again up there, we also went over to the neighbor's side. So this you see here is us sealing the neighbor's side too. Like we went over to her side and sealed it on that side too. Multiple times, multiple layers. And then this is the door that we can get over. Now, while that was happening, there was from the roof up there, you can see that little pipey thing. There was a pipe coming all the way down and there was a water spigot that literally blocked the middle of our door. So I had to climb back and forth between the two sides with this pipe in the middle. One of the times when I was climbing, I slipped. This is hip height, so you have to step on step sills. My foot kicked to the water pipe and the water pipe broke off. I had to rush across to the back area there and up the ladder to the roof, and that was an ordeal too, because when I got up to the top, there's like handle things for you to hold on when you get up there. And one of the handle things just decided it wasn't gonna hold anymore. I barely touched it and it just keeled over. And I almost fell off the ladder. So that was fun, not. I got up to the roof, I got the water turned off. My husband had to come home from work early to seal up the pipe, and he cut off one of the pipe parts at the top, and then he sealed it, and then he cut the pipe here, but left that little kind of like middle piece that goes over the roof, because otherwise we'd have to seal that hole too. So, once that was all done, I also did all of the walls with the waterproof paint, not just the one wall, just for shits and giggles. I was also painting downstairs on first floor in the kids' room, so the same couple weeks that I was painting up here, I was running up and down from first floor to fourth floor, going back and forth, painting down there, painting up here, while coats were drying, switching locations, etc. And then cleaned up the floor up here once it was finally painted, and I also painted all of the tile grout lines here. All of them got painted. My husband thought that was unnecessary, but I decided it was. After that, my husband ordered these pads for the floor to make the floor softer to exercise on. And he decided to order what Taiwan has that's called no good peat, the NG peat. Now what this is like if there was some issue with the cutting or the colors or whatever in the things, then they sell them extra cheap. So he got them really freaking cheap, and he assumed they wouldn't be that bad. They're that bad. So we've had a hard time like connecting them. You can see they don't quite fit there if I'm angling this properly. And the ones over here that aren't used, they actually, most of them don't actually fit anywhere. And then we still have the sides to fill in, but we decided not to fill the sides in until after we get back big rains to check for any more possible leaks on our side. If nothing's leaking, then we will cut the leftover pieces and fill in the sides to fit. And then I'm probably gonna get another type of like roll out, I think it's latex floor, to put over top just to cover up this. Because when the cats get in here, they sit there and say, hey, we gotta scratch everything. So that's never good. So I'm gonna get something. So I'm gonna make a second video in a second. That's not me talking about to myself. It's gonna be showing the room. Okay, so I will upload both of those videos today together, and then I'm gonna work out.